Are you afraid of traveling because you don't know these things' names in English? Don't worry.
From airplane parts to airport vocabulary, I'll teach you the words you need.
So let's get started. Section 1: Inside the airplane. 1. Cockpit.
The cockpit is the front section of an airplane where the captain and first officer control the aircraft using many instruments, screens, and controls. It is a restricted area where pilots manage the flight from takeoff to landing. Example: the pilots completed their final checks in the cockpit before takeoff.
2. Cabin.
The cabin is the main passenger area inside an airplane where travelers sit during the flight. It includes passenger seats, overhead bins, lighting, and other facilities designed for comfort and safety. Example: the cabin was quiet after all passengers took their seats.
3. Galley.
The galley is the small kitchen area on an airplane where the cabin crew prepare and store meals, drinks, and other service items for passengers.
Example: the flight attendant prepared drinks in the galley during the flight. 4. Lavatory. A lavatory is the polite and common word for a bathroom on an airplane. It is a small private room where passengers can wash their hands and use the toilet during the flight. Example: the passenger asked the flight attendant where the nearest lavatory was. 5. Overhead bin. An overhead bin is a storage compartment above the passenger seats, where travelers place their carry-on bags and small personal items during the flight. Example: she placed her backpack in the overhead bin before sitting down. 6. Tray table.
A tray table is a small folding table attached to the back of the seat in front of you.
Passengers use it for eating, drinking, working, or placing small items during the flight. Example: please return your tray table to its upright position before landing. 7. Seat pocket.
A seat pocket is a small storage pocket attached to the back of the seat in front of you. It usually contains safety information, magazines, and sometimes air sickness bags.
Example: I found the safety card in the seat pocket. 8. Air vent.
An air vent is a small adjustable opening above your seat that allows you to control the flow of fresh air during the flight.
Example: she opened the air vent because the cabin felt warm. 9. Reading light.
A reading light is a small personal light above each seat that passengers can turn on when they want to read or do something without disturbing others. Example: he turned on his reading light to read a book during the flight.
10. Call button.
A call button is a small button above your seat that allows you to contact a flight attendant when you need assistance, such as requesting a drink or asking a question. Example: the passenger pressed the call button to ask for some water.
11. Window shade.
A window shade is a cover on an airplane window that passengers can raise or lower to control the amount of light entering the cabin.
Example: passengers must open the window shades before takeoff and landing. 12. Bulkhead.
A bulkhead is a solid wall or divider inside an airplane that separates different sections of the cabin, such as separating passenger areas from the galley or other sections. Example: the seats near the bulkhead usually have extra space in front of them.
13. Bulkhead seat.
A bulkhead seat is a passenger seat located directly behind a bulkhead.
These seats often provide extra legroom because there is no seat directly in front of them. Example: she chose a bulkhead seat because she wanted more space for her legs. 14. Jump seat.
A jump seat is a small foldable seat used by pilots or flight attendants during takeoff, landing, and other times when they need to sit in the cabin area. It is not a regular passenger seat.
Example: the flight attendant sat on the jump seat during takeoff. 15. Exit row. An exit row is a row of seats located next to an emergency exit door.
Passengers sitting there may have extra legroom but must be able to help during an emergency if needed. Example: passengers in the exit row must follow the safety instructions carefully.
16. Aisle seat. An aisle seat is a seat located next to the walkway, between the rows of seats. It gives passengers easier access to move around the cabin. Example, I prefer an aisle seat because I can stand up easily during a long flight. 17. Window seat. A window seat is a seat next to the airplane window. Many passengers choose it because they can enjoy the view and look outside during the flight. Example, she chose a window seat to watch the clouds during the journey. Section 2. Airport places and facilities. 1. Terminal. A terminal is the main building in an airport, where passengers check in, go through security, wait for flights, arrive after landing, and access different airport services. Large airports may have several terminals for different airlines or destinations. Example, we arrived at the airport terminal 3 hours before our international flight. 2. Concourse. A concourse is a large area inside an airport terminal that connects passengers to multiple boarding gates. It usually includes shops, restaurants, seating areas, and other passenger services. Example, our boarding gate was located at the end of the concourse. 3. Boarding gate. A boarding gate is the area where passengers wait before entering the airplane. It is where airline staff check boarding passes and allow passengers to board through the jet bridge or airport stairs. Example, passengers were waiting at the boarding gate for their flight to begin boarding. 4. Departure lounge. A departure lounge is a waiting area inside an airport where passengers stay after security checks while waiting for their flight to board. Example, we relaxed in the departure lounge until our gate was announced. 5. Arrival hall. The arrival hall is the area of an airport where passengers go after landing. It usually includes baggage claim, customs, and transportation services. Example, my family was waiting for me in the arrival hall. 6. Check-in counter. A check-in counter is a desk at the airport where passengers confirm their flight, receive their boarding pass, drop off checked baggage, and get assistance from airline staff. Example, we went to the check-in counter to drop off our luggage. 7. Self-check-in kiosk. A self-check-in kiosk is a machine at the airport that allows passengers to check in, choose seats, print boarding passes, and sometimes print baggage tags, without assistance from an employee. Example, I used the self-check-in kiosk to get my boarding pass quickly. 8. Security checkpoint. A security checkpoint is the area where passengers and their belongings are inspected before entering the departure area. Officers check items using scanners to make sure the flight is safe. Example, passengers must remove liquids and electronics before going through the security checkpoint. 9. Immigration. Immigration is the process where government officers check travelers' passports and documents when they enter or leave a country. Example, we went through immigration before collecting our luggage. 10. Customs. Customs is the airport process where officials check goods and belongings that passengers bring into or take out of a country. Travelers may need to declare certain items. Example, she declared her valuable items at customs after arriving. 11. Passport control. Passport control is the area where immigration officers check passengers' passports and travel documents to verify their identity and permission to travel. Example, the line at passport control was longer than expected. 12. Duty-free shop. A duty-free shop is a store at an airport where travelers can buy products such as perfumes, electronics, and gifts without paying certain local taxes or duties. Example, I bought a gift from the duty-free shop before boarding my flight. 13. Jet bridge. A jet bridge is a covered walkway that connects the airport terminal directly to the airplane door, allowing passengers to board and leave the aircraft comfortably. Example, passengers walked through the jet bridge to enter the airplane. 14. Moving walkway. A moving walkway is a slow-moving conveyor belt built into the airport floor that helps passengers travel long distances more easily and quickly. Example, we used the moving walkway to reach our gate faster. 15. Escalator. An escalator is a moving staircase
that carries passengers between different levels of an airport, such as from one floor to another.
Example, we took the escalator to reach the departure level. 16. Baggage claim. Baggage claim is the area in an airport where passengers collect their checked luggage after arriving at their destination. It usually contains one or more baggage carousels. Example, we went to baggage claim to pick up our bags after the flight. 17. Baggage carousel. A baggage carousel is a rotating conveyor system located inside the baggage claim area where passengers collect their checked luggage after landing. It is specifically designed for passengers to retrieve their bags. Example, I waited at the baggage carousel until my suitcase appeared. 18. Baggage conveyor belt. A baggage conveyor belt is a moving belt system that transports luggage through different parts of an airport, such as from check-in areas to airplanes, or from airplanes to baggage claim. Passengers do not normally collect their luggage directly from these conveyor belts. Example, my suitcase moved along the baggage conveyor belt after I checked it in. 19. VIP lounge. A VIP lounge is a comfortable private airport area that offers premium passengers a quieter place to relax, work, eat, or wait before their flight. Example, business class passengers enjoy drinks and snacks in the VIP lounge. 20. Observation deck. An observation deck is a special viewing area at an airport where visitors can watch airplanes take off, land, and move around the airport. Example, we watched the airplanes from the observation deck before our flight. Section 3. Airport staff. 1. Pilot. A pilot is the person responsible for controlling and flying an aircraft. Pilots operate the aircraft systems, make important decisions during the flight, and ensure passengers travel safely from departure to arrival. Example, the pilot announced that we would begin our descent soon. 2. Co-pilot. A co-pilot, also called the first officer, is the second pilot in the cockpit, who assists the captain and shares responsibility for operating the aircraft safely. Example, the co-pilot helped the captain complete the pre-flight checks. 3. Captain. A captain is the most senior pilot on board, with the highest authority and responsibility for the flight. The captain makes final decisions about safety, flight operations, and emergency situations. Example, the captain welcomed passengers and explained the flight details. 4. Flight attendant. A flight attendant is a member of the cabin crew who takes care of passenger safety, provides service, and helps passengers during the flight. A flight attendant may also be called a steward or stewardess, but flight attendant is the modern and preferred term. Example, the flight attendant served drinks and answered passengers' questions. 5. Purser. A purser is the senior flight attendant who leads the cabin crew and coordinates passenger service and safety duties during a flight. Example, the purser supervised the cabin crew during the long international flight. 6. Gate agent. A gate agent is an airline employee who works at the boarding gate. They check boarding passes, make announcements, assist passengers, and manage the boarding process. Example, the gate agent checked our boarding passes before we entered the airplane. 7. Ground crew. Ground crew are airport employees who handle operations on the ground before and after flights. Their tasks include loading luggage, guiding aircraft, cleaning planes, and preparing aircraft for departure. Example, the ground crew prepared the airplane before the passengers boarded. 8. Ramp agent. A ramp agent is a member of the ground crew who works near the aircraft on the airport ramp. They load baggage, guide aircraft movement, and perform tasks needed for safe departures and arrivals. Example, the ramp agent loaded the suitcases onto the airplane. 9. Baggage handler. A baggage handler is an airport worker who moves, loads, and unloads passengers' luggage between the terminal and the aircraft. Example, the baggage handler carefully moved the luggage onto the conveyor system. 10. Marshaller.
A marshaller is a ground worker who uses hand signals or special equipment to guide airplanes safely into parking positions at the airport. Example: the marshaller guided the airplane to its parking area.
11. Immigration officer.
An immigration officer is a government official who checks travelers' passports, visas, and documents when they enter or leave a country. Example: the immigration officer checked my passport before allowing me to enter the country.
12. Customs officer. A customs officer is a government official who checks passengers' belongings and ensures that goods entering or leaving a country follow customs rules.
Example: the customs officer asked about the items in my suitcase.
13. Security officer.
A security officer is a person responsible for protecting the airport and passengers by checking people, luggage, and restricted areas for safety reasons. Example: the security officer checked my bag before I entered the departure area.
14. Air traffic controller.
An air traffic controller is a person who manages aircraft movement from a control tower or control center. They give pilots instructions for takeoff, landing, and safe movement in the air and on the ground. Example: the air traffic controller gave the pilot permission to land.
15. Dispatcher.
A dispatcher is an aviation professional who helps plan and monitor flights. They provide pilots with important information about weather, routes, fuel, and flight conditions. Example: the dispatcher checked the weather conditions before the flight departed.
Section 4. Luggage and travel items. 1. Boarding pass.
A boarding pass is an official document that allows a passenger to board an airplane. It contains important information such as the passenger's name, flight number, seat number, boarding gate, and departure time.
Example: I showed my boarding pass to the gate agent before boarding the plane. 2. Baggage tag.
A baggage tag is a label attached to check luggage that contains information used to identify and track the bag during the journey. Example: the airline employee attached a baggage tag to my suitcase at the check-in counter.
3. Carry-on bag.
A carry-on bag is a small piece of luggage that passengers are allowed to bring inside the airplane and store in the overhead bin or under the seat in front of them. Example: she packed her laptop and important documents in her carry-on bag.
4. Checked baggage.
Checked baggage is luggage that passengers give to the airline at the check-in counter. It is stored in the aircraft's luggage compartment and collected after arriving at the destination. Baggage and luggage both refer to travel bags, but baggage is the term more commonly used by airlines and airports,
while luggage is more common in everyday conversation. Example: my checked baggage arrived safely after the international flight. 5. Luggage trolley.
A luggage trolley is a small cart used by passengers to carry heavy bags through the airport more easily. In airports, you may also hear the word baggage trolley, which means the same thing. Example: he used a luggage trolley to move his suitcases to the check-in counter.
6. Oversized baggage.
Oversized baggage is luggage that is larger or heavier than the normal size limits allowed by an airline. Items such as sports equipment, musical instruments, or large boxes may be considered oversized baggage.
Example: passengers must check in oversized baggage at a special counter. 7. Fragile sticker.
A fragile sticker is a label placed on luggage to show that the contents are delicate and should be handled carefully.
Example: she placed a fragile sticker on her suitcase because it contained glass items. 8. Passport.
A passport is an official government document that identifies a person and allows them to travel internationally.
It contains personal information and is required when crossing many international borders. Clarification: a border is the official boundary or line between two countries. Example: I checked my passport before leaving for the airport. 9. Visa.
A visa is an official permission from a country that allows a traveler to enter, stay in, or visit that country for a specific purpose and period. Unlike a passport, which identifies you, a visa gives you permission to enter another country.
Example, she applied for a tourist visa before traveling abroad. 10. Travel adapter.
A travel adapter is a small device that allows travelers to connect their electronic devices to power outlets with different plug shapes used in other countries.
Example, I packed a travel adapter so I could charge my phone overseas. 11. Currency declaration form. A currency declaration form is an official document that travelers may need to complete when carrying a large amount of money across an international border. Example, the passenger filled out a currency declaration form before entering the country. 12. Customs declaration form.
A customs declaration form is a document where travelers report certain items they are bringing into a country, such as food, goods, or valuable items, according to customs rules.
Example, I completed the customs declaration form before arriving at the airport. 13. Travel voucher.
A travel voucher is a document or code that can be used as credit for travel-related services such as flights, hotels, or transportation. Airlines may provide vouchers as compensation or refunds.
Example, the airline gave passengers a travel voucher after the flight was cancelled. 14. E-ticket. An e-ticket is an electronic version of a flight ticket stored digitally instead of a printed paper ticket. It contains travel details such as the passenger's name, flight number, and itinerary. Example, I showed my e-ticket on my phone when I checked in at the airport. Section 5. Flight procedures and travel vocabulary. 1. Check-in. Check-in is the process of confirming your flight before departure.
During check-in, passengers receive their boarding passes, choose seats, and drop off checked baggage at the airport.
Example, I completed my check-in online before arriving at the airport. 2. Boarding. Boarding is the process of passengers entering the airplane before the flight begins.
It usually starts after the airline announces that passengers can go to the gate and enter the aircraft. Example, boarding started 30 minutes before the scheduled departure time.
3. Final call.
A final call is the last announcement, asking remaining passengers to board their flight before the gate closes.
Example, the airline made a final call for passengers traveling to Rome. 4. Gate change.
A gate change happens when an airline moves a flight's boarding location from one gate to another.
Passengers should check airport screens and announcements for updates.
Example, the departure board showed a gate change for our flight.
5. Delayed.
A flight is delayed when it does not leave or arrive at the scheduled time because of reasons such as weather, technical problems, or air traffic. Example, our flight was delayed for 2 hours because of bad weather.
6. Cancelled.
A flight is cancelled when the airline officially decides that the flight will not operate as planned. Passengers usually need to rebook or make other travel arrangements. Example, the airline cancelled the flight because of a severe storm.
7. Transit.
Transit is the process of passing through an airport on the way to another destination without leaving the airport. Passengers usually stay in the airport while waiting for their next flight.
Example, we stayed in transit at Doha Airport before our next flight. 8. Layover.
A layover is a period of waiting between two flights during a journey. It is usually a temporary stop at an airport before continuing to the final destination.
Example, we had a 3-hour layover before our connecting flight.
Clarification, a layover focuses on the waiting time between flights, while transit describes the process of passing through an airport.
9. Connecting flight.
A connecting flight is a second flight that passengers take after arriving on another flight in order to continue their journey to the final destination.
Example, our connecting flight to Paris departed 1 hour after we landed. 10. Upgrade.
An upgrade is a change to a higher travel class, such as moving from economy class to business class, or first class, usually for more comfort and additional services.
Example, the airline upgraded our seats to business class. 11. Standby.
Standby is a booking option, where a passenger waits for an available seat on a flight, usually because there is no confirmed seat yet or they are trying to take an earlier flight.
Example, I was on standby and received a seat just before boarding. 12. Overbooking.
Overbooking is a situation where an airline sells more tickets than there are available seats, expecting that some passengers will not show up.
Example, because of overbooking, the airline asked for volunteers to take a later flight. 13. No-show.
A no-show is a passenger who has a confirmed reservation, but does not arrive for check-in or boarding, and does not cancel the booking in advance.
Example, the passenger did not arrive at the gate and was recorded as a no-show. 14. Runway.
A runway is a long, specially prepared area where airplanes take off and land. It is designed for aircraft to accelerate before takeoff and slow down after landing. Example, the airplane accelerated down the runway before taking off.
15. Taxiway.
A taxiway is a marked path at an airport that airplanes use to move between the runway, gates, hangars, and other airport areas. Aircraft use taxiways to move on the ground, but they do not take off or land on them.
Example, the airplane slowly taxied along the taxiway before takeoff. Section 6. Flight operations and types. 1. Booking. A booking is when you reserve a seat on a flight before you travel. Example, I made my booking online 3 weeks before my trip. Don't confuse booking with reservation.
In travel, people often use these words interchangeably. Generally, booking refers to the action of arranging your flight, while reservation refers to the seat or place that's been reserved for you.
2. Ticket. A ticket is a paper or electronic document that confirms you've purchased a seat on a flight. Example, I showed my ticket at the airport before checking in. Don't confuse a ticket with a boarding pass. Your ticket confirms you've bought the flight, while your boarding pass is issued after check-in and allows you to board the airplane. 3. One-way ticket. A one-way ticket lets you travel to your destination without including a return trip.
Example, she bought a one-way ticket because she planned to live in another country.
4. Round-trip ticket.
A round-trip ticket includes both your flight to the destination and your return flight.
Example, we bought a round-trip ticket for our holiday. 5. Domestic flight. A domestic flight travels between two cities in the same country. Example, I took a domestic flight from Los Angeles to New York. 6. International flight. An international flight travels between two different countries.
Example, she booked an international flight from Norway to Japan. Unlike a domestic flight, an international flight crosses an international border and usually requires a passport and immigration procedures.
7. Direct flight.
A direct flight takes you from your departure airport to your final destination using the same flight number, but it may stop at another airport along the way.
Example, we took a direct flight that stopped briefly before reaching our destination.
A direct flight may make a stop, but you usually continue on the same flight.
8. Non-stop flight.
A non-stop flight travels from the departure airport to the destination without stopping anywhere in between.
Example, I prefer a non-stop flight because it is faster and more convenient. 9. Taxiing. Taxiing is when an airplane moves slowly on the ground before takeoff or after landing. Example, the airplane spent several minutes taxiing to the runway. During taxiing, the airplane is still on the ground. 10. Takeoff. Takeoff is the moment when an airplane leaves the runway and rises into the air. Example, the airplane took off on time, despite the cloudy weather. 11. Climb.
Climb is the stage of a flight, when the airplane rises to a higher altitude after takeoff.
Example, the aircraft continued its climb after leaving the airport. Takeoff is the exact moment the airplane leaves the ground.
Climb is the stage that follows, as the airplane continues flying higher.
12. Cruise.
Cruise is the part of the flight when the airplane has reached its normal flying height and continues smoothly toward its destination.
Example, the flight was smooth during the cruise. During cruise, the airplane is not climbing higher or descending lower.
It is simply flying steadily at a stable altitude.
13. Descend. Descend is when an airplane starts moving lower from its cruising altitude as it approaches the airport before landing. Example, the captain announced that the aircraft was beginning its descent. 14. Landing. Landing is the final stage of a flight, when the airplane finishes descending and safely touches the runway. Example, the landing was smooth and comfortable. 15. Emergency landing.
An emergency landing is a landing made as soon as possible, because the airplane has a serious problem or an unsafe situation.
Unlike a normal landing, it happens unexpectedly to keep passengers and crew safe. Example, the pilot made an emergency landing after detecting a technical problem. 16. Altitude.
Altitude is how high an airplane is flying, above the ground or sea level.
Pilots monitor altitude to keep the aircraft at a safe height during the flight. Example, the pilot announced that we had reached our cruising altitude. 17. Flight path. A flight path is the planned route an airplane follows, from its departure point to its destination. It shows the direction that the plane takes. Example, the flight path took the airplane over the ocean before reaching its destination. Section 7. Airport announcements. 1. Now boarding.
This announcement tells passengers that they can begin entering the airplane through the boarding gate. Passengers should have their boarding passes ready and follow the airline staff's instructions.
Example, now boarding Flight 215 to London. Please have your boarding pass ready. 2. Final boarding call. This is the last announcement, asking remaining passengers to board their flight immediately before the gate closes. It means passengers must go to the gate as soon as possible. Example, final boarding call for Flight 402 to Dubai. The gate will close in 5 minutes. 3. Estimated departure time, EDT. The estimated departure time is the expected time when an airplane will leave the airport. It may change because of weather, technical issues, air traffic, or other unexpected situations. Example, the estimated departure time has been updated to 4:55 p.m. 4. Estimated time of arrival, ETA. The estimated time of arrival is the expected time when an airplane will reach its destination. It can change depending on flight conditions, weather, or delays. Example, our estimated time of arrival is 7:30 p.m. 5. Cleared for takeoff. This is an instruction from air traffic control, giving the pilot official permission to begin takeoff from the runway. Only air traffic controllers can give this permission. Example, Flight 302, you are cleared for takeoff on runway 27. 6. Fasten your seatbelt. This announcement tells passengers to securely fasten their seatbelts for safety, especially during takeoff, landing, or periods of turbulence. Example, ladies and gentlemen, please fasten your seatbelts. 8. Turbulence. Turbulence is the irregular movement of air that causes an airplane to shake or move unexpectedly during flight. It can be caused by changing air currents, strong winds, storms, mountains, or jet streams. It is usually a normal part of flying and is generally safe when passengers follow safety instructions. Example, the captain announced that we might experience some turbulence during the flight. 9. prepare for landing.
This announcement tells passengers that the airplane is approaching its destination, and they should get ready for landing by fastening seatbelts, returning seats upright, and storing personal items safely.
Before landing, the airplane usually descends, which means it moves lower from its cruising altitude toward the airport. Example: ladies and gentlemen, we are preparing for landing. Please return your seats to the upright position and fasten your seatbelts. 10. Remain seated.
This announcement tells passengers to stay in their seats until it is safe to stand, usually after landing or during turbulence.
Passengers should follow the cruise instructions and keep their seatbelts fastened when required.
Example: please remain seated until the aircraft has come to a complete stop and the seatbelt sign has been turned off.
Congratulations!
You've mastered over 100 essential aviation words.
Now you're ready to travel with confidence. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next lesson.